This feels very, very scientific, sci-fi, cinematic. I don't know why. So I was in the middle of reading to learn, learning to read, minding my own business, and there's hope for you. There's hope for the future. Picture this: a king stood at the edge of a burnt black sun with a crow perched beside him like a living thought. Below him, the earth answered, back through roots, bones, instinct, ancient, intelligence, wearing human skin. Then came the emotional rupture, cups overflowing in abandoned places, love arriving while survival mode still has its hands around the throat of vulnerability. Grief spoke before language did, and somewhere behind the sorrow, a sword remained, face down, waiting for consciousness to become brave enough to turn it over. When it finally did, the truth hit like a deep space light. Some connections are not accidents. They're psychic weather, cosmic recursion. Two nervous systems colliding hard enough to wake sleeping archetypes. The wheel began turning. The portal opened, and the soul, unable to pretend any longer, stepped forward. Interrogation. Welcome to the transmission. So what do you guys think? I write. I just draw cards and just write from inspiration from what I see. And then it's like if I'm pushed to like record that, it's from if depending on what the message says. I like that. That's why I felt like it's scientific, sci-fi, like just pulling different things from the illustrations. That's just what I do. Okay, so welcome to the transmission. So granted, I do get into this on a very creative level. I do not do like the surface rigid fortune telling game. Like that's what it really is. That's where all this really stems from. It's fun, but I just love to read. I read to learn. I learn to read. So if you look at all the different illustrations, that's where I got all that from. That nice wordplay, just writing. You see that? That's King of Cord, or King of the Line, and that's Earth Totem. So that would be like your King of Swords and your Page of Pentacles. And then you got a lot of aces and fives here too. You got Ace of Cups, Five of Pentacles, and then this deck. I pulled this one after shuffling, which is the Five of Cups, but it was face down, but it was sticking out, so it was like pull that one too. So it's the Ace of Swords and the Five of Cups, and that's clarified by the Wheel of Fortune. And on the bottom of each of the decks, you got the Five of Cups in reverse. So even though you have it upright here, it's in reverse over here. Psychic portal. Even though that's a Ouija board in that picture, you might can't see it on camera, but that's like a Ouija board. It doesn't give me the negative spiritual essence. I'm going to explain it. And then you have the Hierophants. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is All right. The sacredness of material reality is what I get from starting with these two. It's like a black crow. The black crow would represent your intellect, your omen, your strategy, your observation. That burnt black sun right there, that's harsh truth, ego death, like illumination through shadow. Then you got these black fireballs in the illustration. That's controlled destruction, mental force, like a volcanic thought, right? And then you have a perch on a branch. That's perspective, surveillance, detachment. So this wouldn't be a soft king. It's like a ruler who survived winter and now speaks with surgical precision. The crow especially gives what I see that what others miss frequent. Like they say it right. The crow especially gives that I see what others miss frequency. It gives that. So he picks up what other people miss. Like a mind sharpened on grief, silence, and pattern recognition. So there's lineage, boundaries, fate, communication, a dividing truth, holding the line mentally and spiritually. I'm in an emotional truth standing in the rain without the umbrella. Feels like someone who appears like mentally composed, observant, even emotionally disciplined on the surface, but whose wisdom is rooted in survival. And this is not a shallow intellectual energy. This is somebody who learned discernment the hard way. The crow imagery matters. It matters here because the crow are watchers. They remember faces. They carry symbolic intelligence. So this king feels emotionally restrained, but not emotionally empty. It is more like, I cannot afford to misunderstand this connection. Maybe it's a lot at stake with the Wheel of Fortune. It's like, I bet on something before. I gave it my all. It blew up in my face. I can't afford that backlash. Propelling myself forward. And the clarifiers, like the earth totem, is tangible, it's real, it's bodied, it's instinctual. This is like somebody trying to stabilize themselves. And then I got my Ace of Cups and my Five of Pentacles. It's one of the saddest, beautiful combinations in tarot. Like it feels, it's a full heart meeting emotional deprivation. So feelings are genuine, but there's an emotional exile, distance, insincerity, insecurity, abandonment, poverty of spirit, or inability to watch warmth consistently. And the Ace is saying the feeling is real, but the Five of Pentacles is saying, but something hurts too much to receive it properly. Like it can manifest as someone feeling unworthy of love, separation despite emotional truth. It could be grief wrapped around tenderness. It could be longing while isolated, or emotional connection appearing during a hardship. So together, the whole spread feels like a person who thinks deeply. So far, the whole spread feels like someone who feels deeply, thinks deeply, but could struggle with vulnerability because survival mode became their native language. Like the emotional offering is there, but it arrives carrying that winter weather. So you show up, this person could show up cold. This could be a man or a woman, but I feel like it's a man. Like they have surgical precision as it pertains to this king of line, or just king of cord, the king cord. The sequence matters in this spread because the Five of Cups is the emotional field was already speaking before the mind caught up. So grief appeared before the explanation, regret before articulation. The card is mourning, but it's also fixation. A person staring at what's spilled because they cannot emotionally metabolize what happened yet. That's the Five of Cups. You see that? And your aces, and your Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords feels real cinematic though, like the truth existed beneath the surface before it was consciously acknowledged, like hidden clarity, unspoken realization. The mind whispering, like you already know what this is. Like when you turn it over, like when I turned off that Ace of Swords, even though I really pulled the Ace of Cups, but I was led to pull this one too. Like that combination, it appears when somebody can no longer lie to themselves emotionally. The sword does not erase the grief, it names it. Like the Ace of Cups and the Five of Pentacles says, love is present, but pain and emotional scarcity interfere with receiving it. if that makes sense. So now the spread evolves into the feelings are real. The grief is real, and now the truth is undeniable. With my Wheel of Fortune, cycles are moving, time is moving, consciousness is moving. What is hidden starts to show up. It pulls it to the surface. Like, you know how in certain areas you have people can't be buried into the ground because you live above water. It's like it's coming to the surface. What's under the water is starting to surface back to the top. What was frozen begins rotating back into visibility. It often appears when the karmic patterns or your soul contracts or unfinished emotional loops or major turning points are activating. And what strikes me the most, collective, is that your spread is almost entirely aces and fives. So your aces would be like your beginning, your truth, your raw essence, your divine openings, and your fives are your disruptions. You know how I say it's only a five and a five could be changed. So they'd be your disruptions, your instabilities. They're temporary, of course, but it's grief, challenge, and transformation through discomfort. And a new emotional and mental reality is trying to emerge, but it has to pass through loss, ego fracture, or emotional honesty first. And it feels less like prediction and more like a soul trying to stop negotiating with what it already knows. So from that perspective, it could be heightened intuition, subconscious access, receiving information beneath language. It could be ancestral memory, psychic permeability, or somebody sensing truth before the facts appear. Does that make sense so far? So should I use another deck to further like amplify? I kind of want to, but I'm gonna keep going. Like, this connection or situation is being understood through instinct before logic, very premonition coded. So which matches how you send, or how I said, or how it can be said. It's not as rigid. Like I was saying about the fortune telling, it's not rigid fortune telling, but it's like energetic recognition. Revert. Now hold on. Now, when I said at the bottom of the deck, the reverse Five of Cups suggests movement through grief instead of like a permanent residence inside of it. So that can speak of the reverse. Underneath says the emotional recovery, beginning to lift one's head. It's like reconciliation with pain, emotional awakening after isolation, or realizing not everything has been lost. So beneath that loneliness and emotional deprivation of what the Five of Pentacles will represent, there's actually potential healing trying to emerge. So the heart is wounded, yes, but it's not dead. There is still water in the cups behind the figure, right? The soul is not emptied completely. So with the Ace of Swords and the Five of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune, that's the spiritual spine of the entire reading. These three. Hold on, I gotta see what that was. So this would be the spine of the entire reading. So that's talking about divine timing, spiritual lessons, karmic structures, sacred contracts, tradition, higher meaning hidden inside of painful cycles, wisdom earned through initiation, or wisdom earned through initiation. So altogether, this reading feels like intuition is opening before the explanation. Real emotional loneliness exists, but grief and deprivation complement or complicate. I don't know. Complement. Why would I say complement? I feel like it complicates access to it. Someone could have a blocked heart chakra. And it could feel like someone was wearing their pain on their sleeve like a badge of honor. That's where I feel like the word compliment came out. But I feel like it complicates it in actuality. A painful truth is surfacing mentally and emotionally. The cycle is turning anyway with that Wheel of Fortune. So there's a deeper spiritual lesson or a contract underneath the entire experience. It feels more like the connection has already altered the consciousness of everyone involved. So it's like an eruption for everybody. And I like the illustration of the Wheel of Fortune because it has the lightning striking at the Ferris wheel. So it has everybody's undergoing some kind of transformation, especially with the fives and the aces all over the spread. So old emotion, if I had to sum, it could be like old emotional identity and a new one that has already begun arriving. Somewhere between memory and prophecy, a frequency cracked open. Not a hallucination, not so much a fantasy, but recognition. The atmosphere changed first, so electrical pressure is in the lungs. It kind of jolted somebody back to life, like somebody's getting zapped, like somebody has a heart attack and you have to zap their heart back to life, is what I feel like that means. So static crawling across intuition, like the Most High is leaning closer to overhear his own secret. What does that mean? It's like God is all over the spread with these aces. He's given the opportunity to heal, reconstruct, rebuild, if that makes sense. So I didn't see anything like negative spiritually. I just see old patterns being alchemized into something better. So if it resonates, like, share, and subscribe.